Salutations family, and welcome back to the Electric Leaf, where it is my goal to assist you in nourishing your mind, your body, and your chakras. My name is Nakia. It is a blessing to be back here with you all tonight so that we can discuss again How to Love a Black Man by Dr. Ron Elmore. It is episode 3. You all voted. Tonight we are going to discuss pleasers a little bit more in depth. Before we get started, though, I really want to take a moment just to say that this is not an exclusive conversation. This conversation is for anyone who wants to embrace the idea of unity and love as a whole. I have a lot of people in my family who actually married into my family who are not Black, who married into the family because they love a Black man, so this is not the type of conversation that is exclusive to any group. It's just really for anybody who wants to be included in on embracing love in the Black community, because it does seem like the narrative that is playing is that there's like this tension, this obvious aired out tension between Black men and Black women, and I just don't like it. I'm not really all that great at loving a Black man, but I am able to recognize love and how love feels unconditionally from me for me. So it's easy for me to recognize my thought patterns and the thought patterns of other women that I speak to on a daily basis, where we may be overlooking some areas in how we interact with Black men that is generating this narrative, that's really fueled with pain, And so just wanted to do a little bit of illuminating the shadow, okay? So that we can not fear it so much and love in a space that seems to be dead bones, okay? So Dr. Elmore starts off this chapter, Pleasers, with your love life's theme song. And for Pleasers, the name of the song is called You're Nobody Till Somebody Loves You. I hadn't heard the song before, so I went to YouTube and I looked up the song. I listened to it, and initially it gives you the Carlton vibes, the Carlton Banks vibes, you want to dance to it a little bit. And then immediately, just like I do with modern day music, remove away the beat and remove away the melody and listen to the word. The hard, stone, stale, plain, unseasoned words. And listening to those words, they were quite toxic, they were very toxic. Those aren't the words of a friend, okay? Those definitely aren't the words of a friend. Okay. So then Dr. Elmore goes on to discuss a scenario of a woman who is a pleaser, okay? She basically is great when she has a man and falls apart when she doesn't, okay? She detaches from the world and goes into depression and withdrawal when the relationships end, okay? And she feels that having a man in her life makes all the difference in the world. If you are a pleaser, he goes on to say, you are in love with love and the trappings that go along with it. That's quite powerful. The trappings that go along with it. Pleasers feel great about themselves when men show interest and horrible when they don't. Pleasers are secretly very competitive with other women and struggle with feelings of inadequacy around men. Pleasers have men and relationships almost always at the center of their thoughts, their conversation, and their emotions. Pleasers hope that having a pedestal man of their own will somehow make up for feeling like they are not pedestal women. pedestal women. That's an interesting idea, an interesting concept, very broadly worded, because you can find that in almost any idea or any stereotype of where a woman or a man would have an ideal mate in their mind, you know, which, because we're the ones who create these pedestals with our desires and false ideas and really strange expectations of another that we haven't really held ourselves to at moments. And I've definitely been guilty of that. So, and it's great when you have a partner who wants to reflect greatness with you. But before you're able to reflect greatness with a person, like understanding the concepts in this book, it's important to be able to understand how to reflect that genuine good love to self, you know, first. So, are you a pleaser, true or false? Number 1, you tend to play a role around men, taking care to dress, speak, and act in ways that you hope will convince them you are okay. But these ways are very different from your natural backstage self. True or false? Number 2, you do humiliating things to make or keep contact with men. Things you are embarrassed about before you do them, but you feel you must do anyway. You have been known to pursue a commitment from him in ways that could border on begging, for example. True or false? Number 3, you go out of your way to keep the relationship progressing along so that he basically only has to just show up. True or false? Number 4, you give up your money, your body, or your time in ways that you don't want to, but you do it because he wants it. True or false? Number 5, you are constantly doing mental work to make plans for him to be more and more impressed with you. True or false? Number 6, you settle for far less from him than you give out. You feel a comfortable balance when he owes you. True or false? Number 7, you know exactly what you want from him, but you almost never clearly state it. True or false on that? And I'll add, before you're able to impose your desires in a relationship, it is essential to first ask self that same question. What exactly do I need? What exactly do I want as a woman? What exactly is it that I value? What exactly is it that I desire? What do I want? Outside of all the hats that I wear, outside of my work and the roles I play at home, what is it that I want for me? And that is a difficult question to answer, you know. I feel that that's one of the easiest questions for me to answer for me. What do I want for me? Those things are very basic. But now I'm moving into more complex understandings of that self-connection, which is making connections with others, okay? And overcoming stereotypes in my mind about myself as well as others. It's really a beautiful, scary journey, okay? But anyway, on to number 8. You have become good at justifying, defending, and explaining away his mistreatment of you. The phrase, "he didn't mean to hurt me," has become your motto. True or false? Number 9. You are comfortable giving love and showing affection, but you have a hard time accepting his compliments and other affection. Number 10. You let other important areas of your life, your career, health, friendships, suffer when you are in a relationship. Number 11. Your mood is tied up with his behavior and his mood. You feel fine only when he is feeling and acting fine. Number 12, you avoid showing negative emotions around him, anger, insecurity, jealousy, embarrassment, for fear he might not approve. If you answer true to any of these, you have some pleaser tendencies that can, and no doubt already do, hinder your relationships and your life in general. I will have to agree. You know, when we are able to identify our patterns and our modes of conversation and communication and interaction with relationships that are intimately in our lives, like family relationships and relationships with people that we trust, right? People that we trust. When we're in those types of situations, it becomes easy for us to overlook ourselves and our own behaviors, our own frequencies, the energy that we're truly sending out. You know, it becomes easy to do that. So, and it's also so easy to say, no, I don't do any of those things, or it's easy to say that, it's not my fault why my relationship is going this way or that way, you know? So I really love this idea because he has 5 more sections. So even I would suggest getting this book because I don't agree with being a pleaser just off of the initial explanation that he gave in the previous section of the book, okay? But just from reading this, I definitely can say that there have been moments where I have been at least one of these places, okay? More recently versus where I said I felt like it's been a while since I've been a pleaser, you know what I mean? But there are some aspects that can help us interact with our family members, our sisters, our brothers, our friends in general, just from being able to identify certain aspects of ourselves and our behaviors, you know? So if we're pleasers, he says that the greatest problem is low self-esteem. And I can absolutely agree. You know, it says that you really believe something is at least a little wrong with you if there isn't a pedestal man with you. Or you believe that, or you wonder why someone is offering you and devoting their time to you. Okay, here are some vital steps to take as you move through this book. He says, start with acknowledge your pleaser tendencies. Your love substitute may well be the trickiest of them all when it comes to applying the satisfaction actions that are applied in the future part of the book, okay? And I'm going to tell you, it may be the trickiest. Pleasers may be the trickiest because I can honestly, absolutely tell you that I used to be a pleaser. I definitely do not resonate with being a pleaser anymore, but I was a pleaser. I wrote myself a note here in this book, and it says, pleasers are the dust that empaths are made of. Pleasers are the dust that empaths are made of. You think men are narcissists when it's over, and the tip is to turn the love that you have inward, because 9 times out of 10, someone who is a pleaser, they often feel like I thought that I was supposed to get back what I gave out. I definitely didn't give lies. I definitely didn't give that. I definitely didn't give abuse, blah, 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 yada, yada. But the true thing that the universe is trying to reflect to you, this is a message, this is a nugget. I hope that the person who needs it, I hope that you hear it. Because the true thing that the universe is trying to reflect to you is how you are attending to yourself. How you are attending to yourself, or the lack thereof. Okay? So this attention that you exude on other people, or on this man, or on whomever else it may be, because when we do this behavior, we tend to do this in multiple areas of our lives. So in what areas of our lives are we overlooking the very need of self? You know, that's very important. It says, because if you are honest with yourself about your people-pleasing ways, you'll just use my advice to earn more of men's approval. And that is so true. Like, listen, if you are a pleaser, you have to take back your power. Understanding how people feel is a part of your superpower. Okay? If you are a pleaser, that is a toxic expression of empathic gifts. Okay? Those gifts must be balanced. You must be of service to the Most High. You must know yourself in order to be of service to the Most High. Because how can you, okay, say you want to go to work, or you go to work for your first day somewhere like in a restaurant, right? But you didn't have any training or anything. You there to help though, but you're not serving what's truly needed to be served because you don't have any understanding of the system that they have going on in the kitchen. You don't understand the menu. You don't know who the company is, right? You don't know where you're working. You don't know what you're doing. That's why that's the work, the illumination of the shadow. That's the shadow work that has to take place in order to get to know yourself. Okay? Empath, that's a very important message. Second tip, resist the urge to pay attention only to the love lessons that challenge you to be humble, responsive, and supportive, ignoring the ones that call you to be assertive, confrontive, and willing to walk away if necessary. I think it's important to understand that it's not always time to walk away. It really isn't. Sometimes it is time to really put on your big girl panties or whatever, your big boy trunks, drawers, whatever. It really is a time to take a moment with self, observe your emotions in that energy, reflect on yourself. What is it that I'm truly trying to express? What is it that I'm truly feeling? That's very important. You know, because a lot of times we say, oh, they pissing me off all the time, they get on my nerves, I'm out, I'm out, I'm out, you know, instead of understanding that it's you, man. If you don't get to know you, you're going to keep running into this same issue over and over again, because it's really you being reflected back to you over and over again. So what part of you are you ignoring that you're not able to see because you're distracted by looking at another person? That's important. Okay, so next tip. Expect men who have only seen the pleaser in you to be somewhat thrown off by it, okay? They're going to be thrown off by it. Push through anyway. Remember, you are not there to earn his love, but to offer yours and to accept his. And listen, before you even get there, okay? Yes, when you are there in the relationship, you are there because you want to offer your love and accept his, of course, reciprocity, right? But before you get there, again, understand the restaurant you're in. Know yourself. Know what you're serving. You know, don't be there if you know this man only likes fried chicken every day and beer, and you know that your kitchen really longs to serve fresh squeezed lemonade and fried oyster mushrooms, or raw lasagna. That raw lasagna, it was banging when I made it the other day. Okay. But anyway, indeed, but to know self is to love self. Right. Okay. So before you are there in the relationship, you have to be able to be aware of self. It's important to know this, okay? That we're always whole. We're always our whole selves, but it's important to be aware of our whole self, or at least be willing to accept our whole self as it's reflected to us, okay? So that's very feminine energy, the energy of accepting, and especially the energy of accepting self. All right. And accepting self is a moment to moment practice. It's not like I can't be in a relationship until I'm whole, When are you in the vibration that is conducive to being able to accept who you truly are, as well as allowing another person to be who they are in the process? Like, that ain't easy, okay? Okay, so then the last one is commit. Commit to another woman who will be an accountability partner with you as you apply the upcoming principles. So much of being a pleaser has to do with denial and self-deception about your motives. Your partner is a sister friend who has your permission to get in your face and yank you back into reality as needed. Know your friends. Know your friends, but know yourself better, family. You know, yes, you want an accountability partner, but you got to be able to trust yourself and the advice that you give yourself over all things, because the advice that you give yourself has to be coming from the divine. Now, if the advice that you're giving yourself is not coming from the divine, connect to one of your sister friends that you know that their advice is coming from a place of love as frequently as possible, okay? So, because, I mean, people can give you some bad advice. I mean, people can give you some bad advice when it comes to love. All right? And it's not because they are trying to give you that bad advice. It's because a lot of our programming is settled in pain initially. Okay? So it's time for a change is the next section that is coming up. And he speaks towards the 73 straightforward and uncomplicated but highly effective ways to love a black man. They are the satisfaction actions. So hopefully before the next video, it says expect black men to be very different from the women who love them. You know, I don't know how we're going to go about doing the next section, but you all let me know. Are you guys going to get this book? Are you reading the book? How do you feel that the conversation is helping you? Is it helping you in any way? So until next time, family, continue to vibrate love as always and vibrate well. Peace.